The show and the plot thickens because now the Labour MPs have voted to hit grieving families of military personnel with inheritance tax for the first time as part of a new raid by Rachel Reeves. And
how low can Labour sink when they're thinking of new ways to raise taxes? You know, we've had pensioners, farmers, waspy women, private school.
From a pretty prominent economist, and they say that Labour needs to provide an alternative to aggressive policies being prioritised by the Conservative. The banks and those earning more than £100,000 could quite easily contribute a little more, and unless they do, inequality and poverty will inevitably soar in the months and years ahead. Do you agree with that statement?
The way that I believe that you can reduce inequality, reduce poverty.
A proposal to tax the families of fallen military personnel. Who thought that was a good idea? When Labour MPs supported a plan to introduce inheritance tax on death-in-service payouts for military members, set to take effect by April 2027, it sent shockwaves across the nation. These payments exist to support families who have already
and actually also improve the living standards of ordinary working people, not in poverty, but struggling to get by, is through growing the economy.
You know, the economist that she quoted, that was actually you.
Well, look, I mean, I want to reduce poverty and inequality. I didn't go into politics, but how do you do that? What are the practical things that we can do?
Well, your suggestion in that quote was to tax the banks more and those earning more than £100,000 more, but you've gone back on that.
Well, look, the way that I think that we can lift people out of poverty and reduce inequality, as I say, is to get the economy...
already endured the ultimate loss for the UK. Now, if these funds aren't passed on to a spouse or registered partner, they will be hit with a tax bill. Let that sink in. Grieving families could soon receive an invoice. A well-known economist has weighed in on the controversy, emphasizing how damaging this policy could be. The backlash has been swift and intense. People are outraged, and honestly, who can blame them? This isn't just about balancing the books, it's about honor, about standing by those who have risked everything for their country. Radio callers have been relentless, slamming the proposal as disgraceful and a betrayal of those who have given their lives. Some have even gone as far as calling it outright exploitation. And it's not hard to see why. These aren't just anonymous statistics, they are parents, spouses, and children suddenly left to pick up the pieces. Now, on top of their grief, they may also face a financial penalty. It feels heartless. It feels unjust. People are asking, where's the compassion? Where's the gratitude? This issue isn't just about fairness. It's about whether this kind of policy aligns with the values we claim to uphold. Judging by the public outrage, many believe it does not. So, where does this leave Rachel Reeves and the Labour Party? That debate is far from over. As the public backlash over this military tax intensifies, Keir Starmer has made his stance clear. He is standing firmly behind Rachel Reeves, despite the growing controversy. The Prime Minister has publicly backed his Chancellor, doubling down on Labour's decision to move forward with these tax reforms. To many, this support seems like a risky move. Critics are questioning why Starmer would attach himself so closely to such an unpopular policy, especially while anger is still mounting. During recent press conferences, journalists didn't hold back, pressing him on how this measure aligns with the principles of fairness and support for those who serve. Questions like, does this policy truly honor the sacrifices of military families? And what message does this send to those considering joining the armed forces? Hung in the air. Starmer's responses, though direct, have been described as unconvincing, with some noting his apparent discomfort when defending Reeves. Observers pointed out that Starmer seemed hesitant, stumbling over key points when asked about Reeves's future in his cabinet. His refusal to comment on her long-term position only fueled speculation. It left many wondering, does Starmer genuinely support this policy, or is he backing Reeves out of political necessity? The optics haven't been great for a leader trying to project confidence and decisiveness. These interactions have done little to reassure the public. Instead, they've sparked further doubts about Labour's ability to handle growing dissatisfaction. As demands for transparency and accountability intensify, one thing is certain, both Reeves and Starmer are under immense pressure to justify their choices. And right now, the public isn't in a forgiving mood. Rachel Reeves's tax strategies have left many baffled. This isn't her first contentious move. Farmers, one of the UK's economic pillars, have already felt the strain of her policies. Previous tax changes under her leadership left many in agriculture struggling, facing increased costs on essential supplies and reduced government support. For an industry that sustains the nation, critics say these decisions feel like a betrayal. Now, the focus has shifted to the military, a group arguably most deserving of support. The idea of taxing death-in-service benefits for fallen soldiers' families has left the public stunned. The widespread reaction is one of disbelief, with many questioning why the government would target those who have already given everything. These payments are meant to provide a lifeline for the bereaved, yet, will this simply become another case where public outrage is met with silence? For many, the frustration isn't just about this policy.
Like this video and subscribe my channel for more political updates.
It's about a growing concern that leaders have stopped prioritizing the people they serve. If this sentiment continues to spread, it could have serious consequences for trust in the government. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest political updates.